Welcome back to Care for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 955, we're going to say hi to an old friend, Glissa Sunslayer. This is the, I don't know, 4th or 87th time we've seen Glissa. She is still a 3-mana 3/3 with first strike and death touch. That right there is enough. I'm sorry, that's enough. But she gives more. Uh, when she deals combat damage to a player, you choose one. Draw a card and lose a life. I like recurable card draw in a commander. Destroy target enchantment. Removal. Remove target 3 counters from target permanent. Wow. So this is she's all the right numbers. 3/3, 3 mana, first strike, death touch, and she is now a Phyrexian zombie elf. It has been a while since I have done an elf deck. Now this is not what I call a serious elf deck. This is a Glissa deck featuring elves, not the other way around. As such, let's get into our ramp. Our 3 categories of ramp: artifacts, or Soul Ring, and the Golgari Signet. And then our spell ramp: Farseek, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, Sylvan Scrying, and Cultivate. Then we get into our elves, you know. Um, the 1-drop mana elves, that's actually kind of what spurred the whole elf thing. Elvish Mystic, Finhorn Elf, Arbor Elf, Llanowar Elf, Elves of Deep Shadow. And then, of course, Paradise Druid and Elvish Spirit Guide. Now, I was playing against this deck. Think I don't think I've actually played it, but I think Jason played it the other day, and he was able to Glissa on turn 2 with the Elvish Spirit Guide, and I'm like, that's pretty scary on turn 2. Anyway, I have made some changes since then. So, Jason, if you're watching, I've swapped out about 10 cards to kind of lean a little further into what the deck was trying to do to get out some of the fluff. Some of that is I've added 3 more card draw spells. Now, I consider Tyvar Kell a card draw spell because of the emblem. And I know the +1 and Death Touch. Death Touch is the primary focus of the deck. The elves are in there just to help us with the Death Touch. You know, you can make tokens. All elves have tap to add black mana. That is also kind of color fixing because, we're in both of those colors. Harmonize, Obnixilis, but then we've got the hardcore black, pay life to draw cards. You know what I'm saying. Read the Bones, Sign in Blood, Phyrexian Arena, Painful Lesson, and I am digging this new Infectious Inquiry. Draw 2, lose 2, each opponent gets poison. That's not bad. We're not like hardcore on the poison thing, but we can eke out a poison win if we need to. Um, so let's look at our creatures. Of course, we're going to be running the other 3/3 first strike death touch Glissa. Why not, right? Um, but we want to make our Glissas, especially the commander ones, we want to make them big. We want to make them tramply because trample and death touch. I know it's been a while since I've explained this. This feels like cheating. It does. So if a creature has trample and death touch, trample says lethal damage must be assigned to the blocking creature before any damage can be assigned to the defending player. Well, death touch says 1 damage is lethal. So regardless of if Glissa here is being blocked by a 10/10, you can do 1 point of damage to the 10/10 and have the other 2, or however many, trample over to the player. So the initial version of this deck was Trample Touch Tribal, but you have to build Trample Touch. They don't print Death Touch and Trample on the same card. They just don't, because it's too ridiculously good. So it's all about, number 1, getting Glissa bigger, and number 2, getting her trample. So, that being said, let's go with the bigger. Imperious Perfect is a +1. Canopy Tactician is a +1. Leaf Crown Visionary is a +1. Eldritch Archer is a +1, and a Severe Mana Rock. Dork. Sorry. Dwaynen, +1. Lathril, not really +1, does make some dudes, and having each opponent lose 10 and you gain 10, that's not bad. Abomination of Llanowar. I love this card. This is sickly good. It counts alive and dead elves. So I mean, I've already built this deck. This was, if you're curious, this is one of the sickest elf decks I've ever made. Just because it doesn't matter if they board wipe. You just play the Abomination again and didn't lose anything. Oh, it's silly. Elvish Warmaster. +2 get and Death Touch to end of turn. It's decent. Not as good as Azuri. I mean, just Alpha Run. Immaculate Magistrate, putting in counters on Glissa. A couple of non-elves. Eternal Witness is just too good to not play. And then Finn the Fangbearer, touching a little bit on that poison route. So let's go with Glissa. That's pretty much it for the elf theme. There may be a little bit in here, but we're going to make Glissa big and trample. And we're going to do that with Rancor. It's great. Something happens, it comes back to your hand. Audacity, close to Rancor. Did you know, in fact, that Glissa was indeed raised by giants? Well, I'm saying she was. So the ability to have her 10/10 with the amount of ramp we have, it would be a beautiful scenario to play her in the turn after when she's not sick, be able to play Raised by Giants and swing in for 10/10, first strike, death touch. Yeah, okay. Enlarge is +7/+7 in trample. Prodigious Growth is a permanent +7/+7 in trample. Black Blade Reforged. I mean, come on, right? Darksteel Axe. Endless Scream. People forget about Endless Scream because it came out so long ago. Hasn't been reprinted a lot. Endless Scream. Us old players passed it off because we were like, oh, it's another Howl from Beyond. No, this is permanent. This is an enchant creature. So, yeah, that's really big. Overrun, of course. Primal Might. I like Gareth the Wild Speaker because you get to untap the lands if you need the creature, but really we're just untapping lands until we can overrun, right? That's pretty much what I do with it. We have just go straight to the end. +20, +20. Yeah, it taps her. If I was smart, I would have run that elf that said untap another elf, whatever. I probably should be running it. But, whoa. Titania's Command. 2 counters on your team, or yeah, lots of stuff you can do with that. Bounty of Might. Um, I like the instant +9. I'll take it. Ivar Stand, and last but certainly not least, the Triumph of the Hordes. I mean, it's an elf deck. This can get you there. This is probably going to eliminate a couple of players, not probably the whole table. I say that because I'm regularly staring down 7 opponents. But Triumph of the Hordes, I don't have to tell you how good of a card that is. And, Regrowth is just a phenomenal card. And let's talk about Douthie Embrace. Now, this is an old Tempest card that doesn't, I think it's overlooked, but I think it's becoming more and more played now. Target creature gains shadow to end of turn. Not only does this help you do your commander damage thing with Glissa, it also is one heck of a bargaining chip. Because there are times where, it's obviously a very big target for removal, but you can make deals to leave it. Hey, I can grant your creature shadow too, as long as they don't hit me. Anyway, let's look at some spot removal. You know how much I love in play but useless. If you just kill someone's commander, they're just going to recast it. Now, there's a certain number of times you can kill it, and then after a while, it's too expensive or whatnot. But that doesn't always apply, and better to make it useless, Beast Within, Acidic Slime, Culling Ritual. Culling Ritual, the reason why we don't have a whole lot of artifacts. Return to Nature, Go for the Throat, Blood on the Snow. Now, Jason drew this and he's like, Brian, you don't have any snow-covered lands in the deck. And I said, Jason, I was just looking for a board wipe. But yes, snow-covered basics would help the cause a lot here. Gaze of Granite, just because, sometimes you just want to watch the world burn. Yeah, nuke it all. Now our non-basic lands. Of course, our Rogue's Passage. Believe it or not, this was not in the initial build of the deck. Can you believe that? Kenneth didn't put a Rogue's Passage in the initial build? What's up with that? But Llanowar Waste, Command Tower, Haunted Mire, Blighted Woodland, Necroblossom Snarl, Temple of Malady, Foul Orchard, Golgari Rot Farm, Dark Moss Bridge, Terramorphic Expanse, and the Vivid Grove. Well, I appreciate y'all so much. That's it for this one. It's a pretty straightforward deck. We're going to win via commander damage. Thank y'all so much. And that is what I've got for today. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.